everyone. So I have gotten a few questions lately from people about how I hold my Judaism and being a rabbi alongside kind of some of the more open spiritual practices, the woo-woo you could say that I integrate into my life. And I realized that instead of sending a long email, it kind of deserved a more nuanced answer. And so that's what I'm sharing. And I love the question. I really love the question. Okay, so I have not at all felt a need to choose between the two. I feel like they're like both on this glorious buffet table, and it's a beautiful invitation to enjoy like all of the different ways that we connect to something beyond us. So I want to also give props to my progressive colleagues who have so lovingly embraced that I'm kind of branching out in less traditional directions. And I think the understanding that we each get to offer what is like so deeply us, and there's room and affirmation for everyone. So that I really like recognize that for sure. Okay, so I made lists, and how I connect Jewishly and how I connect more with the metaphysical, mystical sides. So for me, a lot of things about Judaism. One is the idea of Shabbat, which is like so core to my being. The idea that it's really important to take a break from producing and from doing and to create a sacred, holy circle around what's really most important, and appreciating the glory of creation and connection to each other, and stepping back from the physical world a little bit. I mean, that is like, it's so core to me. And I am someone who kind of practices Shabbat more than just one day a week, I will say. But that's one. Another thing is just really expansive understandings of the divine and God imagery and God language. You know, when Moses asks God, what should I call you? And God says, Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh, I will be what I will be. You know, this idea of A, I'm not going to give you a real answer, which is like so Jewish. B, this gets to be kind of more your conception of how you understand this experience that you're having with this burning bush. And C, most importantly, this idea of co-creation and this idea of becoming and becoming together in partnership feels, I mean, that's like deep within my being. So, and then just all the expansive names for the divine. I love Hosea's use of the word dew, D-E-W, to capture God, and such like beautiful nature-based imagery. Like there's a bazillion names for God in the Torah. So I love that. The connection to the earth and the earth's cycles, and cycles of, you know, fertility and blooming, and cycles of rest and inwardness, the connection to the cycles of the moon, like I feel so profoundly. So the orientation toward the earth and her seasons is like really beautiful to me. The emphasis on community and that we're not meant to do this alone, and that we show up for each other, is huge. The focus on asking questions, and that like the questions are almost more important than the answers. Like, yes, I love that. The Jewish melodies are like threaded deep into my being. I mean, I think that most Jews will say, like, you hear Avinu Malkeinu and it just transports you. And so that too feels like core. Also, the idea that we were strangers in a strange land, and that we're commanded to care for the vulnerable in our midst, and to help out, you know, those who are in need, like core to me. So all of those things are treasured, and they're not going anywhere. That's for sure. So that's the Jewish piece. And then I think in terms of kind of a more mystical, metaphysical approach, for me, the understanding that there is way more happening than just the physical world, and that there are spiritual dimensions and like other realms that we can tap into with other different forces of energy it's like really important. And I think because I've had experiences with intuitives who are able to speak about death and the way that souls are reborn and or continue to stay with us and guide us, in the sense that we have like an angelic team or a spirit guiding team that are around us that kind of help us to grow and evolve throughout this lifetime, feels really resonant and really comforting and really uplifting. So that's one piece. And then I think another one, and this has like changed my life, is the idea of energy and the power of energy and the way that our thoughts can create our reality. And then if we put a certain energy behind that, whether it's like joy or sensuality or like deep hope, or a belief that something is going to happen, it completely shifts how we experience the world and our lives. And that has been so profound for me. I think it's one of the reasons that what's happening in our world with this virus, I've been so tapped into spiritual levels, and I felt like all the beauty of love and oneness and reaching out for each other and new forms of connection that are emerging. I've been very tapped into that spiritual level and what's shifting spiritually, and that has felt glorious to me. And so being able to connect in that way has led to much less suffering on my part. So that's, I think, a little bit about what I'm holding and making space, not even making space, like honoring and blessing all of these sides. The importance for me of the energetic, spiritual, non-physical world piece, and then also the beauty of Judaism and how core that is to me, and how much I love being a rabbi, and how much I also love dancing in spiritual realms. And I don't feel like they are mutually exclusive. And I can't wait to see how this kind of continues to evolve and grow and shift and bloom. So I hope that's some good food for thought, and I look forward to continuing the conversation.